Hello there and welcome. And with the new generation of consoles right around the corner, it's only natural that Microsoft would start talking about the next Xbox. And while there have been many talks about the next console being cancelled or being rebooted or all kinds of things, there is one particular price tag that people are starting to look at for the next Xbox. And in this video, we're going to talk about that. If you're new here, my name is James, and on this channel we talk about gaming a lot. If it sounds like something you're interested in, click that subscribe button, give the video a like if you like it, and give it a dislike if you don't. Trying out some green lighting here because this is an Xbox themed video. I'm going to try some themed lighting in some videos, see if it turns out alright. Let me know what you think. So, could you imagine releasing an Xbox for $1,200? I could, genuinely. Because $1,200 in the year 2027 is probably about $700-800 20 years ago. And although that does seem expensive, I want to talk about the idea of why the next Xbox could be priced at $1,200 and why it might actually be a good idea and also a bad idea. Because logically, if you look at it, the options you have for gaming are PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC. And that's the key to all of this. There are a growing number of PC gamers, and we'll get back to why that is in just a minute. But Xbox has seen that that is the case and thought, hang on, why don't we align with PC gamers for our next console? It'll be more expensive, of course, but it'll be the most powerful console on the market, and we can market it as that again. But why are there more people playing PC now? Well, basically because consoles have pushed people to PC. The price of consoles going up and up and up and up, the price of games going up and up and up and up, when you can go onto Steam and get them for, well, you go on a Steam sale and there you go. And you can obviously get games cheaper on console sometimes, and it just depends where you look. But the way you've got to look at it is people are naturally being pushed to PC because it seems like a better alternative in terms of pricing. You don't necessarily need a big beefy PC to play some games. Obviously, if you want really proper high quality stuff, then yes, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny to get a beefy PC. But that's what Microsoft are more than likely going to go with. Why release an Xbox that's on par with a PlayStation 6 when they could release a more expensive console that is on par with a PC? Obviously, that's a vague thing to say because PCs naturally vary in their power. Because you could have a different graphics card to Joe next door who might have a more expensive graphics card. So you've got to find the balance there. So naturally, having a big Xbox that's really beefy and powerful, more akin to a PC, that comes with a heftier price tag. But I think it's all about the marketing. If Microsoft can get the marketing just right, they could probably justify a $1,200 console. Like, seriously. If they really push that to like PC quality levels, I think it probably will sell to not necessarily PC gamers, but those people who are thinking about jumping to PC. Think about it. If you can capture that market and stop people jumping from console to PC, the Xbox is the one to do it if you release it like that. But let's talk about why it's a bad thing. In this day and age, with everything going up, like food, gas, electricity, everything, water's going up, literally everything is going up at a skyrocketing rate, and it's just so unaffordable. Gaming is becoming more and more of a luxury. And what I think it could mean is that whoever releases the cheapest console could effectively win the console war. And I don't necessarily believe in the console war. I think it's a fabricated thing to kind of sell consoles back in the 90s, but that's a whole different story. If you have an Xbox at $1,200 and a PS5 at $1,000, there's not much wiggle room there. It could go either way, because Xbox could say, yeah, we got the most powerful console ever, blah, 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 awesome. And people think, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to take the chance on that. However, if the PS6 was to release at $600, half the price of an Xbox is dead on arrival, like without a shadow of a doubt. And what I think it will come down to with Sony is just how powerful they want to make the PlayStation 6. That is the most dependent factor on the next Xbox. If the PlayStation 6 is hugely powerful, it will be hugely expensive, which is good news for Microsoft because then there's their competitor. they've still got a good chance of selling those consoles. But if Sony go the other way and just make the PS6 slightly upgraded PS5 Pro and release it for $700, Microsoft don't stand a chance if they want to release their next Xbox at $1,200. You'll obviously get the people in the niche area who want to buy it because they want to own everything, or they want a really powerful console, or they want a better experience. But generally, they're pricing people out of the market that way, and you're going to go with the cheaper console. Take me, for example. I'm one of the lucky few who isn't, I'm not necessarily poor, I'm not rich, but I can afford the luxury. But there are so many people out there, like my neighbors, for example. They're probably not someone who can afford the luxury of expensive gaming in 2027. Not any chance at all. And that's where the market needs to be captured. How many people are like me who can afford the luxury as opposed to the people who can't afford the luxury? I would say I'm in the minority, to be honest. Like, seriously, I think I am in the minority here. But also maybe because I do a gaming channel, so obviously I want to kind of keep up to date with hardware and all that stuff. But that's beside the point. So we've talked about the good reasons why having a $1,200 Xbox is there, and also the bad reasons why having a $1,200 Xbox is there. Let's talk about, will Microsoft release a $1,200 Xbox? Yeah, I think they will. Like, I'm calling it right now. I genuinely think the next Xbox will be $1,200 for a base model. However, I think it will be hugely powerful. Like, if you stacked, let's say, 4 Xbox Series X's all together, it's 4 times as powerful as the Series X. And naturally, that all comes down to the marketing. If they can truly market it, yeah, I genuinely think it will be a $1,200 console. And that's insane to think about even now. But if you look in 20 years' time, $1,200 console will probably be nothing. It'd just be the norm. We'd be used to it because obviously inflation happens. But what if Microsoft decide to do something completely different and just not release necessarily an Xbox, but in the same way of what they've done with the ROG Xbox Ally X thing? They've not technically made it themselves, but it is an Xbox, but it isn't an Xbox. What if they kind of start licensing hardware in that way? Well, that's a whole other story. What I want to specifically look at is, like I say, the idea of Microsoft releasing an Xbox that is, a proper solid Xbox, the successor to the Series X. And yeah, I do believe it will be $1,200. Let me know what you think in the comments below, because I know at the moment Xbox is a very hotly contested topic and people want to talk about it a lot, and I've done some videos over the past couple of weeks talking about Xbox, and it's had positive and negative responses, and I always love to see the positives and negatives. Because it helps, it helps me understand what you guys want, because the gaming world is so diverse, it's insane. But yeah, do let me know in the comments what you think about a $1,200 Xbox. There'll be a couple of other videos on the screen now if you fancy clicking any of those and watching more content. A subscribe button just down below if you fancy subscribing and being the first to see that new content come out. Give the video a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, tell me why you didn't like it. Hopefully I will see you in one of my next videos, and until then, take care.